Food is fuel for your body, your mind, and definitely your sport. But let's face it, nutrition is confusing, and the expectations on girls and women to be thin and have a six-pack are exhausting. If you've ever been frustrated with your body, confused about nutrition, obsessed with eating healthy, or guilty when you don't, underate, overate, or overtrained, and overwhelmed with all the pressure, then this podcast is for you. Nutrition can be easy. You can take control of it, but it might start with letting go of control by asking for help and making a change. I'm Lindsay Elizabeth Cortez, sports dietitian and owner of Rise Up Nutrition, where I empower female athletes to overcome nutrition concerns and perform at their highest level, to stop being confused by all the mixed or harmful messages, and finally have confidence in your body as a fierce, fit, and fueled female athlete. Hello, fans. Lindsay back again for a solo episode. As the title of this podcast says, I have two really big announcements to make and one kind of crazy story. And I'm going to sandwich the crazy story in between the two big announcements. So I hope you guys are ready for this. All right. Well, my big announcement number one is that I am pregnant. Yay! I know you're all cheering for me. Yeah, obviously I have lots of listeners and you don't all know me on a personal level, so I don't expect you to be like as excited as maybe my mom is, but I just think this is such a cool time. This is my very first pregnancy ever, so this will be my first child as well. I'm 16 weeks along. By the time this airs, probably 17 weeks. So I know it's still early on and just fingers crossed that everything goes well because it's a lot going on to build a human. So yeah, you might not be my family member per se, but I just think this is so important. You know, this is the Female Athlete Nutrition Podcast, and it's actually been on my mind that, I should definitely, get some people talking about menopause on the show. I should get some people talking about pregnancy and postpartum and prenatal stuff, because that's the spectrum of things that we go through as female athletes. My clientele as a dietitian, I work with women and female athletes of all ages, but I will admit that I do specialize in the collegiate athlete and high school athlete. So about 60 to 65% of my clients actually are of a younger age. I'll say high school and college age. There's some pro athletes where, things like pregnancy just aren't the topic and aren't even on the radar, and they're definitely not things that they're interested in. But, I do have about 30% of my clients that are of an age where they're going through things like pregnancy or just dealing with life with children, as well as things like menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, going through that whole thing. So, as a dietitian, female athlete dietitian, I feel comfortable enough working with my clients, although it might not be my specialty. I do deal with a lot more, dealing with getting our periods. That's a big thing for our high school, college clients or athletes that have lost their period, regaining it. So I think this is an exciting time for me as a dietitian. So not just as a person, as a human being and starting a family, but also as a dietitian to take my career to the next level. It's one thing to know things via textbook, which, like I said, I feel confident that I know things via textbook, but to go through it myself is, I think, just a whole nother experience. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm early on, so we'll see how it all goes. I do want to address just, athletics for a moment, and we're going to get into the nutrition piece in just a bit too. But from an athletic standpoint, if you don't know, I am a runner. That is my sport of choice. And, throughout this pregnancy, right away, I was just hit with nausea, sickness, and fatigue. So those first few weeks, I was not able to train because of being sick. Now that the sickness has passed, I am, doing my very, very best to exercise again, but I'm going to be the first to admit that it is challenging. It is just a whole new beast. The fatigue is real and the body changes, not just with your belly changing, but ligaments stretching abs are sore, not because I'm doing abs, but because they're, you know, starting to separate, I suppose. So the body changes. And, when you're pregnant, you are at increased risk of injury. So it's something to really consider. And I guess what I just wanted to say is I've had some great feedback and advice from people I'm close with and family members, is that I think as a female athlete, when you go through something as life-changing as this, to have a lot of grace with yourself and to probably remove expectations. As I've been talking to people, it's crazy to see the range and variety of what women can or can't do regarding exercise while they're pregnant. So you'll talk to some women who are able to train throughout their entire pregnancy, and other women really can't. And it's not a lack of want or desire, but all the changes going on, or how they're feeling, or sickness, or those injuries, and how the body's changing, that we really can't do it. We recently had the most Olympic trials recently went on, but as a runner, I was watching the track and field US Olympic trials that went on the last weeks or so of June. And it was in the 400-meter race. We had our top two athletes, number 1 and 2, Quinera Hayes, who won that race, and Allison Felix, who came in second place for her. She's going on to her 5th Olympics here coming up in Tokyo. Those two women, the top two women in the 400-meter race, have young children. They're about 2 years old, each of them. And it was just such a cool scene to watch them finish that race, celebrate their wins, celebrate the fact that they're going to Tokyo. And then they brought out Quinera Hayes, brought out her son. Allison Felix brought out her daughter. They're 2 years old. They're on the track. They're celebrating this win. And it was like, wow, how amazing and impressive that these female athletes can literally do it all, right? They can have a family and compete at the highest level. They can have a child and all of the hardships that go along with that, and all of the body changes, and in less than 2 years, be heading off to the Olympics. That's amazing that as female athletes, we can do that. But that also doesn't mean it's wrong if that's not you, right? I'm talking about professional athletes here. If you are not, it is okay to say, you know what? This is a time in my life where training and exercise is not a priority. This is the time in my life where I need to do everything to take care of myself. And if that means sleeping more and getting movement through yoga and walks to prevent injury and unnecessary strain on your body, then that's the right thing. There is no right or wrong way to do this. I do have 2 older sisters who have both had children, and they are great athletes in their own respect. And I think having them has been great for me to reframe my personal mindset, reset my expectations, because they had 2 very, very different pregnancies. One of them was not able to train. She had a lot of pain and injury, and even had like a calcium buildup, and it was so painful to her. And she was somebody who still is, but pregnancies have changed things over the last few years. But she's a runner. She's run New York City Marathon twice. And then she had to say, you know what, this is a time in my life where, I'm focusing on the family, and I'll get back to running at a different time in my life. Whereas my other sister, also a runner, she runs trails and ultra running out in Colorado. Oh my goodness. She was able to run a half marathon when she was 6 months pregnant. And she ran her first 50-mile race when she was 6 months postpartum. Like, she had family and support crew there who met up with her every 10 to 15 miles, and she would stop and eat and breastfeed all at the same time. And then she would continue on running. So again, there's no right or wrong. It's everybody's experience is unique. And I'm grateful that I have my sisters, honestly, who have had different experiences and have helped me reframe my mindset. So I've been trudging along with exercising at the level that I can and that feels right for myself. It's summertime here in Texas where I live, so it's really hot and there's no races anyways. So by the time fall comes and it cools off and there are races, I think I'll be too far into pregnancy to think about it. So there's nothing on the radar for me. I am just training for exercise, enjoyment, and health, and whatever level and amount feels good to me right now. So that is the super exciting announcement. And I'm so grateful that I can share this with all you listeners, because we've got some great guests lined up for the summer, but here and there throughout this journey, I will be sure to update you on how things are going and my personal journey as a female athlete who is now a pregnant female athlete. And I'll be excited to share that with you guys. All right. Are you ready for my crazy story now? Like I said, 2 announcements with a crazy story sandwiched in between. All right. And I'm going to tell it like a story. I had one of my clients tell me recently, like, you got to get to the point faster. You left me on a cliffhanger in one of your podcast episodes. And this is going to be a story. So hang on. Get ready for the cliffhangers. All right. So my crazy story is that throughout this pregnancy, I have absolutely struggled with eating. I've struggled with taste and smell and nausea and vomiting. And it's been a challenge for me. Something I should be good at as a dietitian, eating. And it was a struggle. When you're dealing with sickness and nausea, some of the most tolerable foods are going to be just liquids, carbohydrates, simple digesting carbs, maybe some sodium to, just replenish your electrolytes if you're getting sick with things like vomiting. And so really, when I was really struggling with my, what we call morning sickness, which was not, it was all day sickness, I really just had to embrace that toast, plain cereal, crackers, a little bit of chicken noodle soup, plain pasta, and ginger ale. That was the healthiest food for me at that time because it was the only way that I could really get any nourishment in my body. So I want to, double tap on some messages that you may have heard me say of the importance of food freedom and the importance of not labeling food as good or bad, because at some point in time that might be exactly the food that you need. And so when I was really struggling, that was absolutely true. I just really had quite a few days in a row of just, it was ginger ale, the sugar filled ginger ale, because when you're not eating enough, that was keeping me alive. We'll just say it bluntly like that. And then it got to a point though, where I was like, well, part of also why I'm feeling sick is because I'm probably not getting the nourishment that my body needs. And as a dietitian, I was aware, well, you're pregnant. You do need more protein now. You're trying to grow a human. And so I really tried after a few days or maybe about a week of just, saltines and ginger ale of, Lindsay, you got to make an effort to get some protein or some fiber in your system. Like, talk about your gut being messed up. And I really tried, but unfortunately, I remember waking up saying, I'm going to do better today. And I woke up, I tried making a bowl of oatmeal with some peanut butter for a little bit of protein and some chia seeds for some fiber. And man, oh man, that peanut butter was the nastiest thing I've eaten in a long time. And so that didn't go well. And then I think the next meal, I was like, instead of just having a plain tortilla, melt some cheese in there, get a little proteins and fats in your diet. And I remember taking the cheese out of the refrigerator and I smelt it and I was like, oh my gosh, it smells terrible. It must have gone bad. And I looked at the date and it hadn't. And I remember buying it, but I was so shocked. I was like, wow, the cheese already gone bad. So I threw the cheese out. And we could circle back to that in a moment. But I threw the cheese out. And so I was trying to get more. I think the next morning I woke up and I thought, well, let me try eggs instead of just cereal or oatmeal. That didn't go well. So let me try some eggs. And the eggs were just god awful. And so I'm really, really struggling to get more proteins and whole foods in my diet. I needed just those plain carbs and sugar to manage my sickness. And then I'm trying to make an effort and the food just tasted wrong and bad. At one point too, I even was struggling to drink water. Water did not taste good. And here I am drinking some ginger ale and some Sprite because I needed that. But then I did think to myself, oh man, you're drinking a lot of soda for somebody who doesn't normally drink soda. And I'm fully accepting of it from time to time. But after a week or so of almost relying on it, I was like, okay, I don't want this, but yet I don't want water. Water doesn't taste good. So I actually went and bought a couple of diet ginger ales thinking I can do a 50-50. I'm accepting that ginger ale is okay right now, but maybe I don't need that much sugar if I'm just trying to hydrate. So let me do a diet ginger ale. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, if any gentlemen listen, that did not go well. Artificial sweeteners are like, they were tasted so wrong. They didn't taste like they normally do. So I could not do anything diet. I'm going to go down the list of food really quick. So peanut butter, eggs, cheese, artificial sweeteners, certain cooked meats, which I shouldn't be eating uncooked meat, but like the way that meat was cooked was really, really challenging. So just meat in general was really hard. Greek yogurt, awful. Sour cream, awful. Since the Greek yogurt was awful, I normally get plain. And I thought, well, let me get some flavored Greek yogurts. And those tasted terrible to me too. Coffee. I know I shouldn't be drinking too much coffee, but it wasn't even a matter of trying to reduce caffeine. The taste was terrible. My favorite food, chocolate, terrible. Couldn't eat chocolate. Onions, awful. Garlic, awful. Like I said, water. Oh, and mint. Can't do mint. Couldn't brush my teeth. Absolutely miserable experience brushing my teeth. Had to go out and buy a cinnamon flavored toothpaste, which isn't good either, but I'm telling you, it's better than the mint. That thing was just absolutely terrible. So all of this, I'm talking to my doctors. I'm calling my sisters who have been pregnant. I'm like, oh my gosh, like all these foods I can't eat anymore. They taste and smell wrong. It must be because of the pregnancy, the hormones. And, my my sisters are kind of like, oh, that's a little odd. Like, yeah, a few food aversions here and there. My doctor was kind of confused that why my taste was changing. But yeah, I guess we'll just toss it up to pregnancy. All right, you guys ready for the real reason now, since I built this story up? I recently was talking to a middle-aged man, so no chance of him being pregnant. And he has all of the same symptoms of me. Onions, garlic, eggs, peanut butter, can't do it. Mint, can't do it. Taste and smell completely off. What do we have in common since it's not pregnancy? We both had COVID. And everybody's been talking about loss of smell with COVID. Everybody's been talking about loss of smell and loss of taste. And I had that. I shared on the podcast, it was episode 20. I shared my COVID experience. I did get a very mild case of COVID back in February. I lost my smell in February. I recovered. It came back. And then a month or so later, I got pregnant. And then somehow my taste and smell has changed again. And I've done research since meeting this man, and I told my family, we've done research. Yes, even though people keep talking about anosmia, which is the technical term for loss of smell with COVID, there is a certain population of people that are having a change in smell and taste. So they call it parosmia, which is odor and taste distortion. So where things taste and smell different. As well as phantosmia, which is like phantom, right? It's where you are smelling things that aren't actually there, which I absolutely 100% am. I thought it was pregnancy hormones for the last 2 months, and it's not. This is a side effect of COVID. I've been doing a little bit of research. There was a study just published in June on about 4,000 patients who have had COVID. And out of that 4,000, somewhere around 7% are reporting parosmia and phantosmia. So this odor and smell and taste distortion, it's a real thing. I don't know if you guys listening are like shocked by this, but I was. And here's the kind of scary and sad part about it. We don't know if it will go away, how long it will last. Obviously, the effects of COVID we're not aware of, but I am very sadly a part of that percentage of people that seems to be having some long-term taste and smell effects. And it's so bizarre because it wasn't immediate. I lost my smell and then I was good for about 2 months. And then these issues came on afterwards. And according to that study, I mean, in a study of 4,000 people who have had COVID, if 7% of them, are reporting this, I think that number is probably higher because I'm not in any study. I didn't report that, right? I think that number is probably even higher. The smell is real too. It's not just the eating of foods that's difficult. It is the smell. And there are smells not associated with food. That's very difficult too. Smoke is hard, like with candles. I used to light candles a lot, but I can't stand the smell of blowing the candles out. It smells terrible. Dish soap doesn't smell good, so that's left washing the dishes to be difficult. So here I am struggling to eat the food, and then I can't even wash the darn dishes afterwards. Face wash doesn't smell good. Shampoo, so even taking a shower is unpleasant. And unpleasant is the word with a lot of these smells too. Things don't taste right, and the smell issue is that things really smell bad. It's, if I can say this, I read some articles about it that really, I feel like encapsulate it perfectly. It is a really foul and rancid odor that I'm smelling often. And a lot of the things smell the same, right? So the smell of smoke from candles and face wash and dish soap all smell the same as my dog's dog poop. Sorry to be blunt like that. But the thing is, like, the dog poop doesn't even smell like dog poop. It smells like something else. It's a new smell that I've never smelled before in my life, and it smells terrible, and I smell it all the time. I won't expand on that terrible smell too much further, but I just want you guys to know, if anybody's listening to this, if you are experiencing this, or if you've heard of people with it, this is a thing. And it's not pregnancy. I wish it was, because I think when I thought it was pregnancy, I knew, well, at the most it'll last 9 months, hopefully less than that. And this I'm unsure about. There is some help. I will be calling up the doctor very soon. There are things that talk about retraining your olfactory neurons, so your smell sensory neurons, that you can try and retrain them. They're doing some research on that. So isn't that crazy? Guys, isn't this just crazy? I think it's crazy. Maybe you've heard of this before, but everybody's talking about loss of smell. There is a change of smell and change of taste. And I'm telling you, brushing my teeth is very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. So there's my announcement with pregnancy, my crazy story of all my food issues that actually aren't even pregnancy related. I am adjusting, figuring out how to fuel and nourish my body with some of my favorite foods and some of my staples really being sort of non-options right now. And trust me, it's sad. I mean, I was a chocolate lover, and so this is sad that I'm not eating chocolate anymore. And it makes it difficult. Greek yogurt was a staple in my diet. Can't have that anymore. I'm really finding other options and trying to be creative, and also just acceptance of, certain foods that I am eating for now, while hopefully I work on retraining and regaining my olfactory sensory neurons once again. All right, so you guys ready for the final announcement? Final announcements are updates on some Rise Up Nutrition programming and services that we have for you. So I talked a lot about me in this episode. These final few minutes are for you. I've always said at the end of any episode to reach out to me, book a free phone call with me, and just feel free to chat and talk about what your concerns might be and see if or how I can help you. I wanted today's episode to update you on kind of just like the clear programs that I have for you guys to see if that's a fit for you. So first, I want to talk about my Female Athlete System of Transformation. This is a program designed to help female athletes overcome disordered eating and use food as fuel to perform their best. In this program, we have a lot of athletes who really resonate with disordered eating or eating disorders. They are maybe really struggling with it at the moment. A lot of these clients have energy deficiency or RED-S. They might have amenorrhea or hypothalamic amenorrhea, loss of period. They might have bone injuries because of how they've undernourished their body. All of these are things that we've talked about in past podcast episodes. And so what we do in this program is a lot of stuff, but it is very individualized, one-on-one. We overcome not only the nutrition piece and the fueling piece, but also a lot of the mindset work that goes behind our relationship with food and body and disordered eating. So do a lot of mindset work, a lot of fueling help, as well as always addressing you as an athlete, as a female athlete. So sports nutrition is a big part of that as well. All ages are welcome in this fast track program. It is just so effective. We do have a lot of high school, college athletes because quite frankly, we just see these issues a lot in that population. I know firsthand, and I know from all my clients. So we have that amazing, amazing program. Again, if you're interested in the fast track, the best way to learn more about it is to book a free phone call with me. I'll include the link in the show notes, and you can also find it on my website. Book a call with me, and I will let you know if this sounds like the right fit for you. Okay, but in addition to that program, we are officially now offering a second absolutely amazing program that just hits a slightly different need or a demographic. So our second program is specifically geared towards adult female athletes who want to learn how to fuel to perform without strict dieting. So some things that you'll learn, I don't have a fancy name for it yet. I just call it the Rise of Nutrition Coaching Program, Group Nutrition Coaching Program. No fancy name, but know that it is for adult female athletes who want to fuel to perform without strict dieting. And what you will do in this program, what you will learn, what you will accomplish is how to fuel with sports nutrition for your day-to-day training, how to be race day or competition day ready with energy and confidence, but also how to eat intuitively with foods that you love. Now, these are the same concepts that I talk about in the fast track, but what's different about this program is it is specifically for adult female athletes. So maybe somebody who's not necessarily in college or going through an active issue with disordered eating, but somebody who is definitely wanting to avoid underfueling or the traps of diet culture while still really focusing on performance and how do I fuel my body to feel better, to run faster, to run further, to reach my personal goals. Okay, so what does this program include? Well, first and foremost, it does include starting off with an in-depth consult with me to go over your personal needs, nutrition struggles, your training, and just create an in-depth nutrient analysis and nutrition action plan that is customized to you. We also, in this program, are setting you up with blood work through Inside Tracker, which I talked about in another podcast episode, number 27 with Jonathan from Inside Tracker. So we set you up with an Inside Tracker, personalized blood work, and an in-depth nutrition action plan with me. And then what you have is 12 weeks of live coaching from me. We get together once a week for a live group coaching call with the other members of the group. It is a small group. I am intentionally keeping it small and intimate because even though it's a group, I really value individualized nutrition. You've heard me say it time and time again, nutrition is individualized. So I am guaranteeing that by keeping this group small to less than a dozen people at a time, that you are getting your individualized questions and concerns answered. So we have the live coaching calls by me and another one of the amazing sports dietitians on my team once a week. Throughout the weeks, you also get access to our secure client portal that has so many resources, sample menus, meal plans, educational handouts, as well as 12 weeks worth of, modules and kind of the step-by-step blueprint to guide you through some nutrition topics that will guide you through these 12 weeks. So the sports nutrition, the female athlete specific fueling needs and intuitive eating practices. So week to week, you are guided through these concepts and then you show up to the group call and I can coach you through them and personalize and customize all this information to you. So again, this is stuff that I've been doing with clients for years and years and years now. But what we did is we sort of packaged it together into this really nice 12-week program or 3-month commitment, which is just such a perfect time frame to see progress, see changes, implement it into your life and know with confidence that this will last and to have your nutrition coach with you to guide you through it. I always find that we all need coaches in our life. A lot of you have running coaches, you have lifting coaches, you have triathlon coaches, and you need a nutrition coach, someone who can be there as you have an upcoming race and you can go over your fueling plan, go over your hydration plan. You can go over how you've been eating or ask about carb loading. And that is exactly what I am here for, what me and the other dietitians on my team, we're here to be your nutrition coaches. We're here to teach you. We want to, what's the saying? Teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. And I'm getting it wrong, but you know what I'm saying. So we want to teach you. Absolutely. But we also want to be here for you as you're going through this stuff to coach you through it moment by moment, step by step. And that's why I'm going to stress again, it's a group program, but we are giving you that individualized attention. We are capping this at 12 members at a time. So that means a maximum of 4 new clients a month. We are currently, by the time this episode is released, we're already at 9. So if you want in on this, jump on it. We can get 3 new people in the group right away. We can get you the nutrition help that you need right away. And if you're number 4 or 5, we can get you on a wait list and get you in as soon as possible. So here's the details, everybody, because this is the exciting news. The fast track has been around. Please reach out if that sounds of interest to you. And our new Rise Up Nutrition group coaching program to fuel to perform without strict dieting, available to adult athletes, female athletes, of course, is available now. You can head to our website, www.riseupnutritionrun.com/group coaching. It's also on the menu. You should see it if you just head to the website, but it's the /group coaching. And on there, you will find more information and you can click to join the wait list. Once you fill out a form that will take you all of 2 minutes and join the wait list, we will be in touch with you ASAP to get you in. Like I said, by the time this podcast is released, we've got 3 spots open right now, and then it'll just roll from there. So act now, act fast, join the wait list. And I know we have a lot of people that are eager to do this that I've talked to. So join the wait list. And I'm so excited to kind of officially be launching this, since we've been doing it for the last few months and now we're advertising it. So any questions, head to our website. You can always book a call with me or just join the waitlist right away. Those are all of the amazing updates and announcements with the one crazy story squished in the middle there. Thank you all for listening so much. I really hope you enjoyed that episode, and thanks for listening. But before I let you go, I have free resources that you can have access to right away, right now, so that you can start fueling your body as a fierce, fit, and fueled female athlete. First, I have your Red S recovery race. If you've ever wondered if you might be struggling with Red S, curious to learn more, or know you have Red S and are looking to recover fast, then you can head to www.riseupnutritionrun.com/RedS and download the Red S Recovery Race. See how you place and figure out the next steps to recovery. Plus, while there, I have a few other great resources for you, including 3 nutrition secrets that every elite athlete swears by, and access to our private Facebook community, Female Athlete Nutrition. So again, to gain access to all of this, head to riseupnutritionrun.com/RedS. That's /REDS. And you can gain access and get the help you need fast. Too many girls and women and female athletes struggle with nutrition, but you don't have to any longer. Become fierce, fit, and fueled. Links in the show notes, and I'll see you next time.